I'm big, I'm bad, I'm back, and I'm hungry. Hungry for the heavyweight championship. I'm gonna teach these young pups the ABCs of boxing. These kids may be tough, but they haven't been hit till they've been hit by Big George Foreman.
George Foreman's KO Boxing.
George Foreman's KO Boxing asks a very interesting question. What if Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was literally the worst video game you have ever played? How would that make you feel? And the answer is
bad.
I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that this game is almost as bad as Pit Fighter. And that almost is superlative. The games are equally incomprehensible to me, but sometimes I manage to survive longer in fights I attempted in this game. Please understand that doesn't actually mean very much. This game is a little confusing from the get-go, with the only things on the menu being single player, 2-player, and password. When you select single player, you are presented with a list of biographies of a bunch of boxers I am not sure are real people and don't really want that mystery to be lost, to be honest. This is a list of people you have to defeat to beat the game. Now, I'm not a game designer, but maybe having all 15 opponents in your Punch-Out clone selectable from the beginning is not the best game design. I could only find the European manual for this game, and that manual implies there is a rematch feature, but I never saw it. Maybe you have to beat one opponent before that comes into effect, which I could not do in 30 minutes of play. And not for lack of trying. I tried multiple opponents, I tried the guy who the bio page implies is the easiest to beat, and then started trying to beat them in listed order, and I got nowhere. The best I could ever do in a fight was draw out a loss progressively longer. I could not start noticing patterns, I couldn't see any tells, I did see differences in punches, but they're so minor and the animations are so fast, I really don't know what I'm supposed to do about it. All you can do to control George is dodge to the left and right, block, which seems like it does nothing a lot, and 4 different punches, which don't seem very different from each other. If you manage to combo off on your opponent, you get access to a super punch, which marginally damages your opponent more than a normal punch. Every fight, you have to wail on an opponent who hurts you way more than you hurt them, which is so obnoxious considering the George Foreman thesis we got in the intro section. Each opponent might have a different fighting style, but each one is so similar, it's difficult to tell. What makes Punch-Out so fun and interesting is figuring out the tells and patterns your opponents have, along with the fact that you literally shouldn't stand a chance because you're Little Mac. This game, theoretically, is the opposite of that in every way. You are supposedly George Foreman, an accomplished heavyweight boxer, although I only ever knew him as a peddler of convenient griddles, against supposedly less experienced and weaker opponents, who all fight practically identically, who do not have any personality or fighting style beyond literal words on the screen, because when you watch the sprites, you can see almost nothing different. I'm not being hyperbolic about how bad this game is, by the way. Contemporary reviews of the game pan it universally, with one writer even saying it may be the worst Super Nintendo game to date. That isn't my opinion of the game, as I've played Super Nintendo games that practically don't work, but it's close, and I'd be splitting hairs if I were to rank the worst 5 Super Nintendo games I've played at this point. To go back to my point about the characters, they're all mostly stereotypical caricatures, not really to the extent they are in the Punch-Out franchise, but that's because this game has practically no art style, not because they were trying to be more realistic. Look at what the ringside model looks like. That's a face only a mother could love. Look at the various enemy sprites I've shown you throughout the video. To me, they all look practically the same structurally, and I'm writing this the day I played the game, so I'm pretty sure I'm not just misremembering. It really seems like they tried to put a lot of effort into making something that could compete with Punch-Out without having any idea of what made Punch-Out fun as a video game. I don't think I'd be so frustrated if they didn't put seemingly so much effort into every aspect of the game that wasn't the gameplay. If this game looked like Pit Fighter and sounded like Pit Fighter, I'd have made a 30-second video that said, "Hey guys, look, it's Pit Fighter 2, and then moved on with my life. But here I am ranting about how incredibly not good Acclaim managed to make a Punch-Out clone. Anyways, I don't have anything else interesting to say here. Don't play this game. Don't conceive of this game. This video is a fever dream. And in this fever dream, you are compelled to click the like button and subscribe to Channel Buck if you like old or obscure video games, because that's what I talk about here. Next game coming up up is Monopoly, a game I find incredibly unfun and refuse to play in real life, so boy am I looking forward to that. Have a great day!